Now let's jump into PK's pick.
Whoa. Before we do that, let's have you go.
And you know what? I'm one of those guys that's in the locker room being like, what's this guy talking about? He doesn't know what he's talking about picking that team.
Well, you say it with such conviction too. That's why it's so much fun. The fans will love it.
Okay, so do you want to jump into my picks or do you want to expose my picks? He wants to expose me. Yeah, no, he wants to expose it. It's the exposure. It's crazy.
All right, look, before we get into the quarterfinal, picks here, let's just look back.
Yeah, you want to go back.
At some of these qualifying picks, right? In the West, you were 0-4.
Yeah.
In the East, a little bit better, 2 for 4, right? You were right on Carey Price, but you were wrong with picking Pitt. You picked Carolina and you picked the Islanders.
I said why I picked Pitt.
You did.
I picked Pitt because I ain't betting against Sidney Crosby in a playoff series. I'm not doing it until he retires. Right. It ain't going to happen. You
were right on Columbus, right?
Yep.
But you went with the Leafs.
Okay, but I'm a fan of the Leafs. I like the way their team plays. You know, I was hoping to see them make that jump. I guess a part of me wants to see them getting some kitchens, and I want to see them make that jump. You know, I think that it's difficult. Everybody wants to see them fail, you know? So it's just, that's why I picked Toronto. I think that they're closer to making that jump than not.
So look, now, I don't think anyone really knew what to expect going into the bubble, right?
Yep.
Obviously, some teams were able to show up, some teams didn't. Now we have enough tape on everybody.
Yep.
So these predictions moving forward for the conference quarterfinals, both for the East and the West, we're going to hold you to these. You now have enough footage, and I'm thinking you're going to at least nail 75% of these.
Okay, you don't want me to go with any bias this time. True picks.
We want true picks.
All right, here we go.
All right, let's get into it. We're going to go to the West first, right, with your brother's team. The number 1 Golden Knights versus the number 8 Chicago Blackhawks. Who do you have?
I'm going to go with the Golden Knights. And if you want me to be biased, I would say the Chicago Blackhawks because my brother's on that team. But watching Golden Knights watching them come out of the round robin, they're a hot team right now. They're confident. They're goaltending. They're getting great goaltending. Their defense looks good. The biggest thing that I'm doing here is I'm going with the veteran defense. Golden Knights has more of a veteran defense than Chicago. I think that it's different now. It's a 7-game series. It's not a 5-game series. So I'm going with the experience on the back end. I think that defense is always going to win in the playoffs. I'm going with the Golden Knights. But listen, Chicago Blackhawks, Jonathan Taves is going. If Taves and Kane and their power play and special teams picks up, I think that this is going to be a tough series either way. They're both going to compete. Crawford's playing well. But if I'm looking at experience, I'm looking at a team in a 7-game series, I'm going with the Vegas Golden Knights.
Number 2, Colorado Avalanche versus the number 7 Phoenix Coyotes. Who do you have?
Listen, the Rocket net, Darcy, if he plays well, you know, I like Arizona's chances, but I think that Colorado's just way too deep. I mean, they got that thoroughbred galloping through the neutral zone in, Nathan McKinnon. I think that he's going to be hyped up. He's going to be ready to go. I don't see Colorado losing in the quarterfinals.
Colorado's your pick, right? For the whole behind St. Louis is your number 2 pick for the whole thing.
You want to go that far?
No,
back,
we don't. But we're gonna.
They're in that group. Yeah, they're one of my picks. Yes.
Number 3 Dallas Stars versus the number 6 Calgary Flames.
Well, this is tough. There's some question marks around Tyler Seguin. Is he in? Is he not? Ben Bishop, is he in? Is he out? Dallas Stars haven't really elevated their game, particularly in the round robin. So there's a lot of question marks here. I think Calgary is moving in the right direction right now. They're coming off an emotional series. But make no doubt about it, the Dallas Stars is a team that can come out of the West. This is a very, very, very tough pick. Very tough pick.
Flames played well in that first series against Winnipeg.
It's a tough one. I'm going with the Dallas Stars.
Oh,
I'm going with Dallas.
You're picking.
Yep. I think Segi. I think Dallas is going to come out. Yep.
All right, there we go. Number 4, St. Louis Blues, your pick to take it all, versus the number 5 Vancouver Canucks. Who do you have?
I'm going. Listen, and there's no easy picks. I'm going with St. Louis. That's my team that I picked to be there. But the way Vancouver's playing right now, Vancouver's can make it a series. Maybe they'll win the series. I'm going with St. Louis.
Well, you went all favorites in the West. Here's what I will give you, right? Well, I'm just going to add this in here as a little fun one.
Yep.
We'll call it the Bazinga bonus of the 4 teams that you picked to lose, right? If you could pick one of these to take the whole thing as a Cinderella story, who would be it?
A team to take the whole thing that I picked
if any
to
of
lose.
these, whether it's
the first four
of the
West?
4 losers in the West that you think, the Blackhawks, the Coyotes, the Flames, the Canucks that you see maybe going home early in these first series, if there was one of those 4 teams, if somehow everything right happened, they could have a chance to win it all, who would be the one kind of Bazinga bonus here that we'll call out?
I think Calgary.
All right. You heard it here. They could be the Cinderella story. We're circling it. All right, moving to the East. Number 1, Philadelphia Flyers look great versus the Montreal Canadiens. It's going to be a great series.
It's going to be a great series. This is a very tough pick.
Very tough pick.
I'm going to break it down.
Let's go.
Special teams. Philly's got, in my opinion, better power play. Carter Hart's a very good goaltender. Obviously, they're going to have to neutralize the big shot from Shea Weber at the top because that's, in my opinion, the biggest factor on the power play. Philly's got a really good power play. I think it's going to be very tough to defend against. So it's going to come down to special teams. Philly's goaltending's good. Their D are playing great. The one thing about Philly where I give them an advantage is I feel that their D are a little bit more active. And it's very, very tough to defend against that. But that also opens you up for more odd man rushes. Their defense are young. It's going to come down to decision making. They've made all the right decisions in the round robin. There's a little bit more pressure in this series now. As you get closer and closer to the final,
Right.
I'm going to go in a 7-game series. I'm going with Philly.
Wow. Who do you think has the better series there, Hart or Price?
I think Carey Price is going to play out of his mind. I think he's going to play extremely well. I think Montreal is going to play extremely well. I only see them getting better. The younger players gaining confidence. They're fast. They're quick. They check hard. That's a tough series, but I'm going with Philly.
All right, number 2, Tampa Bay
Plus,
Lightning.
Pricey plays better when I bet against him. So
obviously, right? Number 2, Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. What are your thoughts here? Does Columbus continue?
That could very well happen. I think it comes down to, well, look at this. Stamkos and Rude are possibly out for Tampa.
Yeah, that's rough.
I'm going to go with Columbus. I'm taking Columbus. I don't know why. I'm taking Columbus.
Korpisalo?
I'm just taking Columbus.
Got it.
I'm going to go Columbus.
All right, you heard it here. That's the first time in this entire series you've picked the dog, right? But obviously, if those players are out for Tampa, then, Columbus is probably going to be favored in that series. Number 3, Washington Capitals versus the number 6 New York Islanders. Who do you have?
Islanders.
Wow. Let's get into it.
Why so? Get into that?
Yeah, let's get into that one a little bit.
Well, listen, I like to get in kitchens too, so I'm going to buzz a couple towers. I'm going with the Islanders. I think Ovechkin's going to elevate his game. I think that they're a little bit thin on the back end right now. Who knows about John Carlson's? I don't know what his status is. Obviously, he's, probably going to either win the Norris or come close to winning it. So he's a big deal, but not playing in those games, I think it's going to be tough for him to come back in. So I'm going to go with the Islanders. I think Islanders are going to be a very, very, very tough team to beat with how they play. And they're going to make they're going to make Washington go a full 200 feet to score goals. And in a 7-game series, if the Islanders play that way, the way that they've played all season, I think they're going to be very, very tough to beat.
Let's touch base on Ovechkin just because we haven't really touched on him so far in these playoffs. What are your thoughts on playing against him? Obviously, there's a lot of pressure for him coming into the league. He got the monkey off his back by finally winning a championship there for Washington. He's a gritty player, great scorer. Thoughts there?
I look at Ovechkin just like how I look at Crosby. I mean, you just never bet against those guys because if they get the bounces, and I talk about the bounces, not meaning that they need luck to win, but when you couple their talent and their strengths in their game and how much better they are than a lot of players in the league with the bounces, they're almost impossible to beat, right? You give those guys bounces, they're going to bury you every time. So Washington has that, but I think with Lars Eller being out of the bubble, it's their depth. There's questions around their depth, and in the playoffs, that's what won them the Stanley Cup was their depth, right? So you need to have depth. I think the Islanders are a well-oiled machine. I think that they're playing well. I think they gained a lot of confidence throughout the series in Florida. They just didn't win. They got more and more people involved. I think they're going to be tough to beat in a 7-game series. I'm going with the Islanders.
All right. Number 4, Boston Bruins versus the number 5 Carolina Hurricanes. Who do you have?
I think that this is going to be unbelievable.
Aho.
Nasty.
Williams.
Svechnikov. Nasty. Williams, game 7. Hey, Bruins fans, I'm going with the Hurricanes.
Woo, Hurricanes, that's my pick to take it all.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
Right.
I ain't disagreeing with you on that.
You think Williams opens up game 1 with another fight just to set the tone?
Well, if he does, don't fight Chara. Don't fight that guy.
Well, you heard it here. Look, we have all the picks in right now.
Yep.
Looks like in the West, you went mostly with the favorites. In the East, other than Philly, you went with the underdog seats. So let's see how you do this time around.
All right. Let's see.
All right. And just like we did last time and for the East, right? If there's one team that you picked that lost, that could be a dark horse team that wins it all out of the Canadiens, the Tampa Bay, the Washington Capitals, and the Bruins. Who's that one dark horse team that could win it all?
Let me take a close look here before I make my pick. Where is it?
I know where you have a close tie, where you might have the heartstrings pulled for a team.
Listen to me. Montreal could go all the way. Like, let's be honest.
Let's go.
Carey Price, you're not. When that guy's confident,
right,
man, he's hard to beat.
We'll put them in as your Bazinga bonus.
I'm putting them in as the Bazinga bonus.
All right.
Because I do feel that they can beat Philly.
Yeah.
I can't say that about a lot of teams. They can beat Philly. They can beat Philly. For Carter Hart, it would be awesome for him to go up against Carey Price and do it. But I don't know. It's going to be a lot of pressure, man. It gets really good this round.
The picks are in. Let's see what happens.
The picks are in.